Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Lots of great chat in the chat room, I see, as we're getting ready to get started up here. And I'm trying to make sure that we don't have a reverb, and I missed the button. But anyway, there we go. You know, I know you all wonder, why can't they just do that before? It's not as easy as you think it would be. Yeah, boy. But anyway, we almost got that one in time. We're going to talk today about a subject, the scapegoat, Azazel sacrifice. Who was his redemption for? Interesting stuff. And I got I guess I got an unsophisticated comment on my channel. And, I should feel sorry for this person because it just shows how little spiritual understanding they really have. It shows how tiny, just the tiniest little bit of spiritual understanding. They said, you supposedly have read the Bible 100 times and you've got all this study in the scriptures and you're just now seeing this? You've never seen it before? What's wrong with you? That shows someone that has a complete lack of understanding of any, has no idea of spiritual revelation. They don't know what they're talking about, and it's really sad. They're really, really sad. And let's try to stay on topic here today. Really sad, because if you've ever had any understanding of spiritual revelation, that's why you continue to read the sacred text and you continue to read the sacred scriptures, because as you grow, you can see more. As you grow, you can understand more. And if you can't see anything more than you could see 5 years ago, you're very unsophisticated. That's all I can say. So if you'll study a little more and listen a little more, there's a reason why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You will begin to understand more, I promise you. And it's a cold day as I come to you here from a hidden location deep in the heart of flyover country. And we are having a chilly day, but still a nice day. And to start looking at this and talking about Azazel, talking about scapegoats, talking about sacrifices, going into the book of Leviticus, you're like, what in the world is he even doing? But this is one of those things that as many times as I've read it, as many times as I've studied, as many hours as I've studied it, I still didn't see it. And I feel like this girl in the background sometimes. I'm like, how did I not see that? But that's the way it is when you study. That's the way it is when you learn. That's the way it is when you grow. That's the way it is when you discover. So let me show you what I discovered as I was reading here within the biblical text. And actually, someone sent me a message of this on, one of the things, Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, my website, somebody sent me this and said, hey, have you noticed this? And the answer was no. I haven't noticed this, not until now, and thank you for sending it to me. And we're in the book of Leviticus, and I know most of you don't read the book of Leviticus, and I know you don't read it for good reasons, because most of it's really boring, or it can be boring, and it's so archaic and old, it doesn't really have a lot of resonance with us. But we make mistakes when we don't look at some of these things, and people say, why do you still read the Bible? Well, for reasons like this. They're talking about the Day of Atonement, where, everybody would come in and be solemn, and they'd have to kill this animal and put the blood on the mercy seat, and hopefully God would accept it. And if he did, everything was cool. If he didn't, they were all screwed. But check this out, ladies and gentlemen. The high priest makes a sacrifice for himself, which is interesting in itself. And then they take 2 goats. Watch this. They take 2 goats, ladies and gentlemen. And Aaron, who was the high priest, cast lots. He basically shakes some bones or shakes some dice or something, and, high number for one, low number for the other. But he cast lots on 2 goats, ladies and gentlemen. 2 goats. And check this out. one of these was for Yahweh, or the being that was calling himself Yahweh. We'll just call him the Lord, because I'm convinced, ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't really Yahweh. He was just usurping that name. He wasn't really Marduk. He was just usurping that name. And if you watched the great show last night, the Consequential Rapscallions, actually was the Rock Scallions last night, because we had Rocky Stucci with us. Great show. After this one, go and make time to watch that one. But the Lord, they cast lots for two goats, one for the Lord and the other for this scapegoat. And Aaron took the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell and killed him as a sin offering, which is interesting. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat, that goat had to go alive before the Lord to make atonement with him where it could be for him, and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. I know that sounds really confusing, and it kind of is, but some of you are already seeing it, and it is mind-blowing, ladies and gentlemen, what this scripture is telling us. There's three people in view here. Well, there's four people. There's the people. There's the high priest. There's the scapegoat, which is Azazel, and we'll talk about that. And then there's the Lord. And smack my face if it doesn't look like redemption and sacrifice is being offered for every one of them. High priest needs to have his sins cleansed. People need to have their sins cleansed. Aaron, or scapegoat, needs to have his sins cleansed. Yahweh, Lord, needs to have his sins cleansed. Okay, so if the Lord is the God, then the Lord can do the cleansing of Aaron's, the high priest's, sins. The Lord could do the cleansing of the people's sins. The Lord could do the officiation or the cleansing of the scapegoat's sins. But who's going to do the cleansing of the Lord's sins? Does that create a conundrum for anybody else? Does that create a conundrum for anybody else? Let me see what's going on in the chat room. We're made in God's image, yes. Just see if anybody has anything to say about this yet. Doesn't look like. Yeah, it's interesting. I doubt Israel's a scapegoat. No, it's not. The more you unindoctrinate, the more you can learn. Absolutely. The Lord has a lot to cleanse. Okay, so, Heart of the Rebel 666 says one of his meditations earlier this week was about God needing atonement. Well, we're not talking about God, but it looks like Yahweh may have needed atonement. So let's get back into this and let's delve into it once more, and let's do what we do, go into the actual original languages, and let's take a look, see what he is saying. We're going to go to verse number 8, and this is interesting because as I read verse number 7, take two goats, present them at the door of the tabernacle. Let me see what this says in the Hebrew before I even go there. Verse number 7, because this brings me back to Cain and Abel. And I've proven to you before from the scriptures that Cain slew Abel in an attempt to stop a human sacrifice. And the thing that's bouncing around in my mind is that it said that there was at the door of the congregation a sacrifice waiting. And I've proven to you that that was a human sacrifice waiting for Cain to make, but he refused to do so. And there's another sacrifice waiting at the door here, and it's called a goat. But what is another word for a goat, ladies and gentlemen? Think about that as I take a drink of steamy hot coffee. Ever heard the term a kid of a goat? Was it not only a human sacrifice like in Cain and Abel, but a child sacrifice? I don't know. Let's look. Let's see what this says. And you're going to read some great stuff. You're going to see some powerful stuff. So Aaron is going to cast lots. Casting means, and this is interesting, we're not supposed to do any witchcraft, but they're going to basically gamble. They're going to throw bones. And what is that other than witchcraft, ladies and gentlemen? They're casting lots. Oh, it's okay if the Lord's people do it, but they don't want anybody else doing it. And that's exactly accurate. You know why it's okay for the Lord's people to do it, but they don't want anybody else doing it? You know why it's okay for the Lord and his priests and his kings to practice magic and direction of intention, but nobody else? Because they don't want anybody else mastering, practicing, using their intention, their energy. They want you to be blind, fat, dumb, and happy. And using your intention makes you divine, sovereign, and free. And that's the last thing they can have is you divine, sovereign, and free. But that's not what we're here to talk about. There's two goats. What's this word here, goats? What's this word for goats? It just means hairy. What is this word for goats? Devil. Really? I'm confused. And he shall cast lots, Aaron's, for the two goats. Is it devils? Let's go back to 7 and see what it says. The goats. Devils. Hairy devils. Sin offerings. Satyrs. Demons. It gets curiouser and curiouser, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? And you wonder why people don't want your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower getting on this channel and showing you things like this. This is the Day of Atonement. Purim, I believe it's called today. It is the most solemn, the most sacred occasion in all of Judaism. And Judaism is the base founding religion, the base source for Christianity, and the base source for Islam. They're all the same people. So the very base of Abrahamic religion, the most sacred day of the base religion of the Abrahamic faiths has at its core satyrs, devils. Ladies and gentlemen, this is straight from the Hebrew. Straight from the Hebrew. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. They say goats. They say goats. Look what a satyr really is. A satyr or a satyr. The Passover Seder. How many times have you heard that? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know that I was breaking this story today. I thought I was breaking another story, but this is live revelation on live YouTube. We are breaking out the demonic source of all Abrahamic religions right here. Oh my goodness. David Icke, we need you to come on the show. This is getting good. So the Passover Seder, it's a Seder, which is a class of lustful, drunken, woodland gods. In Greek art, they were represented as a man with a horse's ears and tail, but in Roman representations with a goat, a goat's ears, tails, legs, and horns. Holy crap. It's a goat. This is bad. Oh, my ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my ladies and gentlemen. A satyr is a male nature spirit looking like a horse or a goat and having this right here, an exaggerated erection. Ever been to the Vatican? Ever been to the Vatican? Look at this. These are satyrs. These are satyrs. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't say this. I didn't make it up. Let me show you one more time. For some reason, the Captain and Tennille came into my head. Show it to me one more time. Anyway, how does that happen? Because he just died, and anyway. The goats. He'll take 2 goats. Oh, isn't this nice? It's bad enough we're killing 2 goats. What did the goats ever do to anybody, right? It would be bad enough if they're killing goats. It would be bad enough if they're killing goats. Somebody's probably telling me, knock it off. No, it's actually Rocky Stucci saying, thanks for having me on last night. It was a good time. It was a good time. It'd be bad enough. I won't do that again, I promise. Well, I can't really promise. But it would be bad enough if there were 2 goats they were killing. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not 2 goats. The word is satyr. What does the word mean? Without any translation, it means devil. 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 So they were dealing with devils, goats. Oh, there's my word. Kids. So he'll take 2 devils, 2 kids possessed by devils. Are we talking about children possessed by devils? And present them before Yahweh. Oh, folks, are you beginning to get disgusted? He takes them and puts them on a stand before Yahweh. You almost get the idea of tying them to a stake or tying them to a table. You're presenting them. You're putting them on a stand before this God, quote unquote, of Yahweh. He presents them before, presents them before the face of Yahweh, the proper name of the God of Israel. You're saying no way. I'm saying, bro, Yahweh. 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 He's going to take 2 devils, 2 kids, 2 goats, present them, stake them down, tie them up, put them on an altar before Yahweh at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. At the opening, at the doorway. Oh, is that a portal? A doorway, an entrance to another world? Is that why, ladies and gentlemen, the demonic spirits can possess the kids? I'm just going to go with kids. And I'm telling you, remember, back in the Cain and Abel story, I'm not going to spoon feed you. Go look it up yourself. The sin offering was crouched where? Crouched at the door, just like the other devils. And think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We're thinking about the tabernacle as just a tent with an opening. This is an energetic, demonic working from the text. How does this not get 1 million views and bring Christianity to its knees? This knowledge. Devils, 2 devils, not 1, but 2 devils, are at the entrance. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a portal. And they're bringing children, or maybe it's just goats, to be possessed by entities. But come on now. If they did it in the beginning with Cain and Abel with human sacrifices, child sacrifices, why would they go to goats here? Come on. This is absolutely horrific, ladies and gentlemen. And I didn't know I was bringing this out today. This is... So they're going to take two kids, present them at the portal, stake them down, put them on an altar before Yahweh so the satyrs, the demonic spirits, the devils can inhabit them. I'm just reading to you from the scriptures. And then they're going to have a raffle. See who gets what. You've got offerings. Who's going to get the boy? Who's going to get the girl? They're going to cast lots for who gets the kids. Same word, devils, kids, and I know I'm extrapolating, but they put these things there for us kids so we understand. Eyes that see, ears that hear. And they're going to cast lots. And there's two goats. Aaron and for Yahweh. So if there's two goats, and they're one of those goats, one of those kids, Yahweh is going to get to eat or consume or get the blood, the adrenochrome. David Icke, we need you on this channel. And Aaron's going to get the other one, the priest and the high priest. Who gets the boy, who gets the girl? But then there's this other thing involved. Okay, there's two goats. Remember, we just heard there's two goats, there's two devils, there's two kids that are going to be possessed by devils as sacrifices. There's two of them. Two. Do you see that? Two. Double. Two. 1, 2. Buckle your shoe. There's two of them, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where I was just what I thought I was going to get into, but we're way deeper than that. There's two of them. But then there's this other thing called the scapegoat. I don't see three goats. I see two goats and a scapegoat. And here's the important thing. Watch this. This word, devil, right? Scapegoat should be the same thing. Goat, right? But watch this word. Oh, it's Azazel. What does Azazel mean? It means entire removal. Entire removal. Oh, it's the proper name of a spirit that haunts the desert. Oh, it means a departure. Ah, it really means a departure. To depart from where? To where? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking about the door or the opening of the tabernacle, an unused word. If we're talking about the opening of the tabernacle and something gets to remove from some place to another place, are we talking about letting two devils possess children that'll be sacrificed? And are we talking about now a third entity that gets to come in or remove from that dimension into this dimension and join Yahweh? And the implication here, ladies and gentlemen, is that these goats are covering sins. Aaron has sins. Oh, but so does this guy. But actually, they have tricked us because Aaron is getting a sacrifice that he gets to consume. Yahweh's getting a sacrifice he gets to consume. And the guy that puts it all together, Azazel, he gets to come into this realm and stay for another year. Boom. There it is. We've just figured it out. We've just figured it out, ladies and gentlemen. But it gets more interesting. And Aaron brings the goat, which the lot of Yahweh fell on, and offers it as a sin offering. Brings the goat, the kid that's possessed by the devil to Yahweh. Yahweh consumes it. And they're still consuming children in ritual sacrifice today. And the goat that was for Azazel gets presented before Yahweh to make atonement to Azazel. Yahweh has to make atonement to Azazel. Ladies and gentlemen, Yahweh himself has to make atonement to Azazel. This being called Yahweh's got a boss. His boss is Azazel. Aaron's got to give some of his juice to Yahweh, or the being calling himself Yahweh. Yahweh's got to give some of his juice to Azazel. And in exchange for that, Azazel says, okay, I'll stick around for another year and help you guys out. And the Azazel, he gets to take his energy and he gets to be alive. And guess where he gets to go? He gets to go out into the wilderness and just hang out. Wow. He gets to go out into the wilderness and just hang out. This is probably one of the most staggering revelations that has ever been presented about Abrahamic religion. Aaron casts lots on two kids possessed by devils. The Lord gets one of them. Oh, here we go. There are 3 goats. I missed it. Thank you. Here we go. Aaron offers a sacrifice for himself, makes an atonement for himself. Ah, now that makes much more sense. But watch this. Verse number 6. Watch this. Ooh, this is powerful stuff. Verse number 6. Aaron, the high priest, what does he get? He gets a bull, a young bull or a steer. Aaron doesn't get the good stuff. Aaron gets a bull. Aaron gets a steer as his sacrificial victim. This is the text. Aaron gets a bull. Aaron gets a steer as his sacrificial victim. That's for himself. Aaron gets to eat. He gets a sacrifice, but he gets a bull. But the kids, the devil-possessed kids, that's one for Yahweh, and that's one for Azazel. One for Yahweh, one for Azazel. They get the human sacrifice. They get the good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron, he got a sacrifice. He got some energy. But Yahweh and Azazel, they get the real thing. Fresh meat. Finger looking good. They get the real thing. Yahweh said, you can't have the blood. It's for me. But he just said and showed that Aaron can have the blood of the bulls and the birds, but Aaron can't have the good blood. Aaron can't have the blood of the kids. No, no, no. Finger looking good. That's just for Yahweh and for his boss, Azazel. And Yahweh makes a deal with Azazel to stay in power for another year. And Azazel gets to inhabit this earth for another year and this plane of existence for another year. Oh, my ladies and gentlemen. They did not want us to figure this one out. I guarantee you. They did not want us to figure this one out. I guarantee you. Steve Conover, excellent question. Is the third temple going to try to reopen the portal for Azazel? Oh, Steve Conover, you just hit it. Because since that temple's been destroyed, oh snap, Azazel, he hadn't been able to come through, has he? Or are they opening up the portals all the time through their child sacrifice? But, oh, now it makes sense why they want that third temple. It's not just because they want a third temple, and it's not just because they want to do their red heifer stuff. They want the third temple. Oh, here we go. It's come full circle. They want the third temple so they can bring Azazel back. Their biggest, baddest, dirtiest, demonic entity that even Yahweh worships. That's why they got to have that third temple. Now it makes sense. Not only is it to unite all of the Abrahamic religions, but they think if they can bring Azazel back. And has anybody ever noticed the similarity between Azazel and Israel? If they can bring the temple back on the Day of Atonement, the first Day of Atonement in the third temple, they could bring Azazel back. And they think that'll be enough for them to win. They're wrong. They're wrong. But now I see what they're trying to do. Now I see what they're trying to do. Wow. For all those, no wonder they were so upset when that temple got destroyed. No wonder they're so upset that temple got destroyed. Because they couldn't bring Azazel back every year anymore. They couldn't open up that temple anymore. That portal anymore. Wow, that's why they want a third temple. And even though Sean Vest is a little off in his eschatology, the abomination of desolation, that already happened very clearly. Jesus, Luke, Matthew, Mark said it was Jerusalem being destroyed by the Roman armies. But we could extrapolate and say that if they built this third temple and brought Azazel back through, that would be an abomination of desolation, Sean Vest. Wow. Boy, we just got a whole lot more work to do, didn't we, ladies and gentlemen? I told you 2019 was going to be one hell of a year. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen, the revelation that we've just discovered together? And this is what I love about this channel. This channel is not about me being the messenger. This channel is not about me being the Messiah. This channel is not about me being Jesus. This channel is not even about me being Jesus. This channel is not about me teaching you. This channel is not about me guiding you. This channel is not about me leading you. What did Robert say? I hate to miss Robert's comments because they're always very astute, but let me get back to that because that's very important. If true, then Trump is being positioned by the Sanhedrin to give them the temple to bring that entity back. Yes, Robert, did you see my Trump temple video? That's exactly what's happening. Trump, $1 billion personal debt, wiped clean, and they said it with their own mouths. He was more valuable working for us, more valuable alive than dead because he was working for us. Donald Trump has just started to work for them. Donald Trump is here to build that third temple and make sure that third temple gets built so Azazel can come back. They might impeach Donald Trump, but they will not remove Donald Trump from office. It's a charade. It's a game. This is the distraction. They want us to be caught up in, oh, Trump's going to get impeached. Oh, Trump. When the whole thing is, all they're trying to do is get that third temple built so they can get Azazel back here. Trump, probably still a good guy. Trump wants to build that wall because he thinks it's right. He wants to do things because he thinks it's right. But he's still bought and paid for. $1 billion. They saved him. They're going to pat Donnie on the head and let him go do some stuff that he wants to do. But he's there to build that temple. Just like Gerald Clark reasoned out independently. I can't wait to talk to David Icke about this stuff. Donald Trump is there to bring in the third temple so they can open the portal and bring. The way this broadcast came together, ladies and gentlemen, I got a message. Oh, I guess it's coming back. Let me go read this because it's very important. And I want to show you how this works because this was sent to me by a subscriber. It's not just me doing the telling. This is a partnership. This is a community. We are learning together, ladies and gentlemen. Let me find this quote. Doggone it. Where is it? Here it is. This is from William Calley. You know what? I think I'll go ahead and share this. Because he deserves credit for bringing this to my attention. And this is how this channel works. I'm not here to be your guru. I'm not here to be your leader. I'm not here to be your Messiah. I'm not here to be your whatever. I'm here to bring you the mail so you can figure it out for your damn self. Watch this. I don't know if you already covered the Day of Atonement on your YouTube channel. For me, it's one of the Bible's passages that I refer to as a smoking gun passage and opened my eyes that I was being deceived. It's a good example to show Christians how pastors are misleading their congregation. You're not my congregation and I'm not your pastor. If you want a pastor, you're just asking for disaster. And if I want a congregation, I'm just looking for a conflagration. I don't want any of that. Many pastors and Sunday school teachers are teaching that the scapegoat represents Jesus. Yes, they are. The term scapegoat was coined by William Tyndale, and I checked this all out, when he translated the term that is the Hebrew word Azazel. There's absolutely no good reason not to use the original name, which is Azazel, which is true, which of course puts a whole different paint job on the evil blood ritual. Here's an excerpt from Wikipedia, and I know people say, well, even Jay, Wikipedia is stupid. Wikipedia is information. Not all of it's good, but some of it is. You go to the library, you got some good books, you got some bad books. You got some books that are all good. No, it's sifting through information. It's eating the meat, spitting out the bones. It's eating the veggies and throwing out the husks. Pardon me. William Tyndale rendered the Latin as scapegoat in his 1530 Bible. 1530. Is that interesting that was just about the same time that the Jesuits got started with their Counter-Reformation movement? William Tyndale might have been a Jesuit mole in the Protestant Reformation. Oop! Somebody write that down. Somebody send me a message. Was Tyndale a mole in the Protestant Reformation? Somebody email me that. Somebody write that down. Tyndale rendered the Latin scapegoat when he should have left it Azazel. It was used in most English translations, including the King James Version in 1611. You and I know, says my very wise friend William Calley, you and I know that Azazel is referred to in the Book of Enoch. I think the Book of Enoch is a forgery, but it's possible that this could be truth within that forgery. There was a real Book of Enoch. The one that we know, I believe, is a forgery. I believe I've shown it. It's a forgery. Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, metals of the earth, bracelets, ornaments, and costly stones, blah, blah, blah. I don't, as Wayne would say, I don't dig on this part. But did William Tyndale naively F up this translation? Or was he an agent of the Jesuits within the Reformation? In my opinion, says William, Tyndale replaced Azazel with the newly created word scapegoat with only one intention: to deceive and mislead the reader. William says, I think that you will agree also. And guess what? In the words of Nacho Libre, I do agree with you. I know, as we're going to continue on the Nacho Libre train, I know that a lot of you don't think that I know a buttload of crap about the gospel, but I do. I just didn't like my duties. I didn't like my preaching duties. I didn't like my teaching duties. I didn't like my baptizing duties. I wanted some new duties. And now I have some new duties, and I love it. It's fantastic. Wow. Wow. This is powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Powerful, powerful stuff. Can you believe what you just heard? I had dead guy duties. Not anymore. Yes, it is true. I am Nacho. Nacho! Be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension. Do the inside job, unindoctrinate yourself. I'm Jeffrey Darty, your friendly neighborhood, slightly crazy Christian whistleblower, and you're the last generation of real humans. And it's fantastic. We love it. Do not wrestle your brothers. Let's get busy.